Hello, my lovelies. How are you? Welcome once again to another interesting video from Kai Lux, where we are led by God. We are dressed or styled, if you please, by grace, and we live in purpose. So we actually defined what purpose is. Yeah, led by God. Some of us have the actual blueprint of what that is, but if you don't, I will also talk about it. Let me know what you want me to talk about it. Yeah, and when you would want me to talk about it. So today we are going to be discussing about the other part of it, yeah, of our slogan, which is being led by grace or being styled by grace. I'm sorry, being styled by grace or being dressed by grace. So this this actual episode, I'm going to be referencing more from Apostle Damonchanett's sermon on grace, because he's a good father, a good spiritual father, and he teaches a lot. I've never met him personally. Yeah, I discovered him through online. That's why I'm saying online. Online does everything for us nowadays. So I discovered him through online, and I've been listening to him for the longest, for about 6 months now, and I really love the way he preaches. He has great insight, I can tell, from the Lord. So without yapping too much, the other day when I released the video on love, somebody actually came to me and asked me, okay, you told us about purpose, and then you didn't say about being led by God, but love like said it a little bit about being led by God, but what about grace? Why are you not telling us about that part? So I'm just like, okay, you came right on time, because this is going to be the third video and the third episode of Kai Ketlak. So I'm going to be dropping it and I'll discuss about grace. Yeah, so that I can, when we say the slogan, or when I say the slogan, you guys, you kind of relate and understand what I'm talking about. So grace. Grace, as I would define it, I would say it is favor. It is favor because you know what favor is? It's like getting what you do not deserve. Getting, okay, not what you do not deserve, also what you do not deserve, but also getting something just mysteriously, just mysteriously by the hand of the Lord. So I would say grace is favor, and what I do know is that grace is an uplifter of men. Grace is an uplifter of men, because you can clearly tell a person who has grace and a person who doesn't have grace. You can clearly tell. You can clearly tell. Like in today's word, how would you say it? How would you describe it? Like vibe. I would say vibe. Yeah. I would say vibe. Like when you have two people and then you're just like, I don't feel this one's vibe. I feel this one's vibe. You know why you're feeling this one's vibe? Because there's some grace that lands upon him or her that you kind of relate to, or kind of favors you, or kind of favors her. So you like want to tap into it, because as human beings, you have been designed to want to gain from others or learn from others. Yeah, and it's not a bad thing. Never feel bad about it. It's something very natural. It was designed like that. So somebody who has grace tends to attract a lot of people. That's why I'm telling you guys, you sure do know. You do know a person who has grace and a person who does not have grace. So grace. Grace cannot be bought. Grace cannot be bought. Grace cannot be bought. And you cannot do something to achieve grace. You cannot say that today I am going to help the needy and then I will get grace. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not something that you can work for. You can't work for, because let me surprise you guys. You think that only the saved people have grace? No, it's not that way. Like, every person, every person in this world is from God, is like God's baby, and God as the Father, He has given all of us different things. And that's why you find even somebody who is not saved, like he has a lot of grace. He can go to a stadium and a lot of people fill that stadium. Maybe an artist, maybe a comedian, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So grace does not only abide with the saved people. Grace abides with everyone, and it cannot be bought. Because if it were to be bought, that guy would not have it who is singing secular music, That girl who is doing like some weird stuff would not have it, but God just gives grace. God gives grace. He chooses the way He chooses. So one thing you need to know, grace cannot be bought. Grace cannot be bought. We do have different types of grace. I'm going to try and remember them the way they were taught to me. Yeah. the way they were taught to me, but I would encourage you to go and listen to that sermon because it's a good one. We had the empowering grace. The empowering grace, that is the first grace. This is the grace that helps you to do things that are not naturally acquired. Things that are not naturally acquired, like divine empowerment. Like, what would I say? Things that are not naturally acquired by any person. Like, you do not need anything. What would I say? I would define it maybe like purpose, like something that you don't need to work hard for. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, something that you do not need to work hard for, something that just comes. They are naturally acquired. Like, maybe you can cook, you can do this, you can serve people. When you talk, people listen to you. You see that grace. Yeah, actually, now you're getting the hang of it because now I feel like I've even understood it. That is called the empowering grace. For example, we're just going to be using those music artists. You know, a music artist who is not saved, who maybe does not even believe in God or is in another religion or does anything else, you know, that person tends to have grace, empowering grace. His is empowering grace because whatever he's doing it effortlessly. He's just going and singing, and then people are buying the albums, people are being encouraged by his song. Even when you listen to his song as a Christian, you say like, okay, I wish he could use the talent he had in God's kingdom because he's really doing mighty things with this talent already. You know, that now is called empowering grace. And then we have the other grace, which is uncommon grace. Uncommon grace, this sets you apart from other people. Like, for example, you would go in an interview and then people are picked. Maybe they needed like 10 people, they picked the 10 people, and then you're cut short in the line. Like, something just happens, like it's uncommon, something very, very, very uncommon. Like, I would just say many people call it favorism. That's why I define grace as favor, because if I say favor, people will understand what favor is. So like, you cut short and then you go, you do the interview, 10 people are selected, and then they mysteriously, they just need a 11th person, and you happen to be the next one in line because you are cut short. So you enter the interview and voila, you pass the interview. This is uncommon grace. Like, people would say like, this is favorism, you know, the way I'm saying, because even when in your workplace, there's this person who is favored maybe by the boss, but it's not like favored. If you investigate that person has uncommon grace. That person has uncommon grace. And that's why I encourage you guys to read the Bible. Like, you should read the Bible. You'll understand all of these things I'm saying, you know. Because me, I used to think, because me, I've been born and raised in a God-fearing home, and like, I grew up going to Sunday school and doing all of these things. But along the way, I fell real deep, you know, because why? I didn't understand. Before I used to think like God's word is just like, hey, we read stories about Moses, we read stories about King David, you know, those many stories, you know, but they didn't make sense to me until now. I got saved by my own will after I'm a grown up, and I'm just like, okay, so understanding the Bible, like, it's different. It's not like the stories that they used to tell us, or I used to think they tell us. It is something different, because tell me how the Bible explains uncommon grace. Uncommon grace, something that you would just sit and be so sad about. You say that this person in our work is being favored. No, that person is not being favored. That person has uncommon grace, because that person, even if you ask them, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything important. Even in school, I know some of you are favored by your teachers, maybe your subject teachers, and they, not that you are a top performer, not that you are a poor performer, but they just loved you. Something drew them to you. You know, this is called uncommon grace. You know, that's why I'm telling you, it's like uncommon favorism. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And then we have the justifying grace. The justifying grace, I would say, it justifies you to be a father. To be a father. Grace is not acquired by works, you know, but for work in the kingdom. So this justification grace, what is it exactly? Is the one that justifies you to be the father, like to be with the Father, like to have a communion with God. The Father in this emphasis, I mean God, like it justifies you. What would I say? Okay, let's not explain that one. I think we should talk about sanctifying grace first, because sanctifying grace, it equips you for holiness and transformation. Sanctifying grace, when we were all saved, when we were all like nini, we were saved, everything, we had sanctification grace. This sanctification grace is the one that sanctified us from all our wrongdoings. Like it made us, like it's from the word sanctify, like it washed all our sins away. So when you have this sanctifying grace, it's like you have even grace to be happy and you used to do something bad in the past, because now you received God. Mostly it's because you received God, yeah, or you have the contentment in you although you lost something. That is sanctify. What is it? It is sanctification grace, and then after sanctification grace, now I think you've understood that one. So the next grace is the justification grace. This is the grace that enables you to be in the presence of the Father. The grace that, God has just given all of us this grace, because I'm going to list the 3 graces that God has given us, especially if you get born again. These 3 graces, they come to you automatically, because even from sanctification grace, we come to understand justifying grace, which is being in the presence of the Lord. Like it justifies you to be in the presence of the Lord. Like you can go to Lord as your dad and tell him, like, Dad, I need this and this. Dad, I need you to fix this and this, That is grace. Like that is favor, because I don't know if you've read in the Bible, but there are instances when people went to God and they were asking for something, and then God was just like, they were not being responded to. Somebody didn't answer, because they had not yet unleashed this justifying grace from God. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So the other grace is the saving grace. This saving grace is for salvation. For salvation, before you're saved, God keeps like anakupursue. He keeps pursuing you. He keeps bringing these thoughts, bringing this YouTube videos like this one, bringing sermons. Maybe somebody gives you a Bible, your mom talks to you about God. These small things in life, these things, they all amount to the saving grace. The saving grace, that now you come and tap into this grace and you're just like, wow, I need God. I need God to save me from this. Like, I understand my life is not perfect from Him. I need Him to save me from this, That is the saving grace, okay? So in the order that they should follow themselves, like the way they should follow, first I told you I'm going to give you the 3 ones that are very key, especially for the saved people. So this is the saving grace, the certification grace, and the justifying grace. These graces are so important, and a Christian, once you become a Christian, you gain this automatically you gain these ones. And then we have so I've already listed 3, and then we have the empowering grace and the uncommon grace. And I've also forgotten another grace, that is the giving grace. This giving grace, not anyone can give you. Not anyone. I think as adults, or for those who are adults already, I tend to believe that at some point you needed something and somebody could not give it to you, and they had the manpower, like they had the authority to give it to you, but they couldn't. They just like resisted and said, I can't give this to you. I believe somebody has lacked something in their life because of somebody, or needed somebody to step in for them, but they didn't. Why? Because these people don't have the giving grace. People don't have the giving grace. I also highlighted this on my previous video on purpose. I said that, purpose doesn't have to be these big things. My tend to complicate everything in this life as human beings. Like, you can't think like my purpose is just singing. Now you force yourself singing, and even your voice is getting hoarse, you cannot sing, because that is not your purpose. You cannot force yourself to do that, because maybe your purpose, you may not have these small gifts, but you have the power, you have the heart to give, and God has blessed your hands to give. Because for a person who has given grace, you have to be blessed to give. You have to give. Either you're giving knowledge wise, because now I have the blessing of, or the grace of giving grace, because now I am empowering you guys. I'm teaching you something new that you guys don't know. So this is the giving grace. Now I'm giving something to you. I'm giving information to you. So God continues to fill me up so that I can give it to you. Also, money-wise, you cannot have this giving grace if you do not have money. Okay, I'm not saying that if you do not have money, you cannot give. I'm saying that God gives you enough for yourself and enough for the others. And He continues adding and adding. You know, that's where among the principles of life, we have the principle where if you give, it will be given back to you like 2 times, you know. That is a principle of the world, and that's how even the other religions they work. That's how they succeed. Some of us we think that their gods are more big or something they are worshiping is so big. No, it's just that these people have just understood the principles of this life. And I think later on I'm going to be talking about principles. I think I've just found a new topic to talk about. Yeah, but this is among the principles, and it's also a grace, giving grace. You have to give, and you have to receive if you have this grace. So we are just going to go through the graces one more time. So we said we have the saving grace. Okay, that is when you're being saved. We have the sanctification grace. That is the one that sanctifies you, like washes you from all those iniquities that you used to have, you know. That is grace on its own. And then we have the justifying grace, the grace that justifies you to stand in the presence of the Lord, ask for something, comment on something, you know. That is the other grace. And then we have the uncommon grace. Uncommon grace is that one that we might all call it favorism. You can put it stroke favorism. And then we have the empowering grace. This is the grace that empowers you to do things like maybe content creators are enabled differently. That is somebody who will create content the whole day and won't feel like something is down. But if a normal person, maybe a CEO who is maybe always on the desk doing something, filling forms, attending meetings, if I tell them to sit here and start creating content like I am doing, maybe he doesn't have the grace, because this thing doesn't come naturally to everyone. And that's why everyone is not a content creator, everyone is not a businessman, everyone is not a You understand? But that is because they don't have this empowering grace. So empowering grace, in short, it gives you like strength to do something that comes very naturally to you. And the other one, you said it's giving grace, the one that you give whatever you have. It might be money, it might be clothes, it might be singing. I'm sorry, it might be therapy for the psychiatrist and the therapist. Yeah, it might be all these things. It might be a doctor giving cure, anything. Yeah, so that is the giving grace. And so we're going to be talking next on how to stand in a posture of grace. Like, how do you stand? Because you have said, okay, Kate, we have said that, guys, you know, like to use myself as the first person. Yeah, because I'm usually with myself so long. So we have said that grace cannot be bought. I cannot bribe God. I cannot like give too much tithe. I cannot like tell God to give me grace just like that, like name bribe. I cannot. Like, that is so weird, and it is not even possible. It won't work. But how are we going to put in ourselves in a posture that we can receive any of the graces that we have listed above? So the first thing you have to do, you have to stand in a place of righteousness. Like, you have to be righteousness in your living. Like, follow the word. You know, I meet so many people out here, they ask me, Kate, is this and this wrong according to the Bible? Is this and this wrong according to Christianity? And I'm just like, guys, I will answer you. I'm very polite, by the way. I'll answer you, but I'm just like, for more, refer to the Bible. Because if you refer to the Bible, you won't even find yourself going to ask people this and this and this, because the Bible clearly highlights everything. I actually didn't know this, and this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. You should read the Bible, because like it teaches you on a lot of things, not only the things that we thought it teaches when we were children, but it teaches on a lot of things. So righteous living, it is in the Bible. You have to live righteously, like reference in the Bible, righteous living. And then we have obedience to divine instruction. Obedience to divine instruction. You know, I was listening to Pastor Stephanie. She's also a good one. Yeah, she's also a good one. I'm actually going to do, I don't know if it's allowed. I don't know, but I'm actually going to do a reel on Instagram. Yeah, maybe after this. So I can tell you guys, like, the people I listen to, the people who empower me, the people when I'm feeling like this I listen to, because I find these people, like, God has just positioned them in the internet just for my purpose specifically. So I was listening to Pastor Steph, she's one of them. Yeah, Pastor Steph, she's from Nigeria. So she was talking about divine instruction, the way we used to think, oh, I used to think personally that divine instruction is something very big, like God has told me, go to the missions, go and save people here, go and do this. Maybe the instruction God is giving me is just a small instruction, like tell your neighbor, tell your classmates, tell your workmate that everything is just going to be all right. You see? Like I'm feeling it in my heart to tell Stella, you're going to be fine. Okay, Mama, you're going to be fine. But I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I'm just like, I'll be too meddling, I'll be too involving myself in her things, and you shy away from telling her, from telling Stella what God said. And those many to instructions, they are the ones that create the bigger instruction. Because if God cannot trust you with telling Stella, hey Stella, it's going to be okay, how can he trust you with going to a church that has maybe 1,000 people and telling them that God did this for me and everything is going to be okay? Guys, no, he cannot. So he has to start small. So I will encourage you, please guys, if you feel like in your heart you have a strong persuasion, like you have to tell somebody this, and it's something that is growing and all that, like something that will help them and not something illegal, you know what I'm saying, guys, like something good, just tell them. Like, don't shy away, because when you tell Stella this, next time God will tell you to tell John this, next time God will tell you take this card, take it to you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so that is obedience to divine instruction. You have to obey the divine instruction. The other one is prayer and seeking God. I also saw a meme. It was a meme, I think, about what? About seeking God and prayer. Yeah, it was actually about prayer. Yeah, and it was saying like Christians of nowadays, they only remember to pray. They only remember to pray when they're in church. After worship, that session, you just pray, and then the rest of the week you stay like that. No, guys, you cannot continue to live like this. Tafadhali, you have to pray even in the morning when you wake up, and even if you have time, pray even during the day, pray even during the night. Yeah, anytime you can, make sure you pray. So prayer and seeking the Lord, that is another a way you can position yourself to receiving God's grace. The other one is serving with excellence. You have to serve with excellence. And this is why I felt the need to do the purpose video as the first video. And once again, if you have not watched that video, please go and watch it. It is among my first videos in this channel. Go and watch it. In that video, I discuss like what is purpose, what you need to know about purpose, what you need to know about your life. And you cannot excel in like this particular point that I'm saying is you're serving with excellence. You cannot serve with excellence. You cannot serve your purpose in this world with excellence if you do not know from the first time what is your purpose. In the first place, what is your purpose? You need to know that first. So serving with excellence is the other one. And the last one is faith and boldness. You got to be bold, the thing that I usually tell my sister every single time, like, Mama, you have to be bold, you have to be bold, you have to be bold. This world, you have to be bold. You gotta be bold. And bold doesn't mean you're rude. Bold doesn't mean you're delulu. You're not delulu. It's just that, like, you're so bold, like you have a sense of drive, And that's why I usually say this channel is we are driven by grace, because we are driven by favor, Like, you have to be rooted somewhere. You cannot just be shaken. You gotta be bold in God's word in this instance, and you gotta have faith. Faith and boldness work hand in hand. Because if me personally, I believe I serve the God who parted the Red Sea. I have faith. That is who I serve, and I am very bold. Even if somebody comes and puts a gun on my head and says, like, Keto, who do you believe? I say the God who parted the Red Sea. Because I am bold and I have faith. So these are among the few ways that you can position yourself for grace. I hope this episode was very helpful for you guys. Whoever was listening to it while washing the utensils, eating, having a lunch break or something. I am just so glad that you tuned in, and I'm happy, and I really hope and I pray whatever I have discussed or I have made you understand from this session, you're going to use it in your life, and it's going to be a very impactful and very joyous and appealing and successful in your life, you know. Yeah, I love you guys, and please do make sure that you comment. Make sure you do like so that this video gets recommended to as many people as possible, because as many people as possible need to know that God is there, that these are the ways of living. Like, this is ways of Christianity. Like, Christianity is just not meant for all the old mamas and old babas, you know. Like, there's more to Christianity than those stories that we were used to be told. There's more to Christianity. Like, I need you guys to help me spread this gospel, so please like this video. Also, do not forget to share. Yeah, share. You can share it with your family, and I have exclusively made these videos very appealing to even the children, so you can even listen with your children or with your child. Teach them as they grow, because even the Bible says when you teach them as they grow, that is the thing they will form to, or they will adapt in their life. Anyways, I love you guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not yet, and I don't know why you have not yet. I love you so much. Bye. Have a nice week and a weekend. Oh, bye. Love you guys.